Today on The College Voice, we will talk about some child stars who faded out of the spotlight and why this happens so frequently. Sugar, spice, and everything not so nice. Anna and Bella bring us another Taste Test Tuesday, but this blizzard has a twist.
We're talking all about our favorite women in history and more as The College Voice starts right now.
Well, hello and welcome to The College Voice. How is everyone feeling today?
I'm good. I'm
Pretty good. How are you, Anna? I'm good. I am ready for the semester to be over, though, and ready for spring. I really enjoyed the weather this week.
It's helping my mood a lot.
Most definitely. Well, I think most of us can remember how important TV was to us as kids. Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, and Cartoon Network were constantly on rotation in my house. But whatever happened to our favorite child stars, specifically the ones of color who faded from the limelight? Here's 4 TV show stars that I think should have stayed famous. First up, China Anne McClain. China started her career early, starring in movies and TV shows when she was only 7 years old. What were you doing when you were 7? She then first graced the Disney lot with her hit show Ant Farm. Disney even tailored it for her in 2011. Recently, she's been Uma in Disney's Descendants 2 and 3. Most people might have seen her today on her TikTok, where she currently has over 10.6 million followers. China is definitely not done in the spotlight yet, but I'm still waiting for another hit show and a remix to Calling All the Monsters. But if someone can get on that, that would be wonderful. Next up is Coco Jones. Now, you know I had to put my girl Coco on this list. Coco was a huge reason why so many more people actually started talking about young stars of color leaving Hollywood out of nowhere. I think we all know Coco Jones from the best DCOM original movie, in my correct opinion, Let It Shine. And boy, did she shine in this movie. I still listen to her songs on the movie soundtrack. Coco recently came out last year to talk about her experience with Disney and highlighted how racism prevented her from reaching the heights that her coworkers were also reaching. But since then, she has flourished on her own, producing her own EPs and gaining a dedicated following on all of her social media pages. I still wouldn't mind seeing her in a movie, though. Next up is Kasim Middleton. Now, you probably don't know him, but you should. Audience fell in love with him when he played himself in the Naked Brothers band in 2007 as the lead guitarist. 7 years later, he faced the stage again on American Idol. Kasim got to the top 7 before being eliminated, and we haven't seen much from him since. No performances, no album, no nothing. Kasim is very talented and deserves more of the spotlight for sure. Maybe we can actually get a Naked Brothers band reunion after quarantine? All right, well, last but certainly not least, Symphonique Miller. And honestly, she's probably the one that I did this whole thing for. I love her a lot. But she should have never been forgotten in the first place. Symphonique is the daughter of Master P and sister to Little Romeo. She first came onto the performing scene during Disney's Next Big Thing, where she got second place. Just like the rest of her family, Symphonique had a musical gift. Her hits like Butterflies and Little Miss Swagger were constantly playing on my iPod Touch and on Radio Disney. After starring in her own Nickelodeon show, How to Rock, for 1 season, she seemed to fade away from the national spotlight, which was very strange to me. But seems to me like neither Disney nor Nickelodeon could showcase their stars of color that well, which sucks because there are so many children who watch the shows and continue to watch their shows. Children of different colors, genders, and income levels. They all deserve to be seen and heard in the media that they consume. So, from a young black woman who saw too many of her childhood heroes vanish, Hollywood, do better. Speaking of Hollywood's lack of compassion when it comes to their child stars, Anna talks about why child stars decide to leave the industry on their own.
Well, some child stars are not always who we think they are. For example, Jeanette McCurdy. I viewed her as an hilarious girl who was always happy. Little did I know she hated her role she played on iCarly and Sam and Cat. It caused her to have an eating disorder, and now she says she's embarrassed of the roles she's played throughout her life. So let's talk about it. Why do child stars have their moment and then they disappear?
That's a tough one. I think, like, just as an actress, like, I'm familiar with like how rigorous the training is, the audition process, and like you walk into a room and you see all these, you know, people that look just like you or look totally different from you, and it's so competitive. And I think like I love acting, and luckily like I've had a great support system behind me throughout it, but not all these child stars are lucky. Like I feel like I've heard with Jeanette McCurdy, like her family was like really adamant about her getting in the career, and like they pushed her and pushed her and pushed her and like forced her into that, and she didn't want that. So I think that's one reason why, you know, these child stars might fizzle out, is because their support system is terrible.
I was gonna say one thing is, like you said, like we're saying, child stars, you might grow out of that. I mean, you want to stay in Hollywood, you want to continue to make your money, but just like with Jeanette McCurdy, she didn't like, or she feels like she regrets some of the roles that she did, but some people want to stay in them, or you might grow out of them. That's what I think. I think when you grow out of them, or when you're so used to being in that role, you might notice how it's kind of damaging to your development as a person, because you feel like you have to stay in this role or anything like that, and I think that kind of hurts their development as a person. So sometimes you burn out, or you want to grow out of it. But what do you all
That's a
think?
good point. I didn't even really think about growing out of it. Or another thing that made me think of is, I think once they play a role so big like that everyone knows, then they go to play a serious role, and everyone's
People
like,
don't take
what the
them
heck?
seriously.
Yeah. And I just thought of that now, like, if she were to play like a serious role, everyone would just be thinking, oh, that's not Sam. Like, why would she take that role? Like, people grow out of stuff.
Right.
And I think that's important for people like us to understand. What do you think?
No, I agree with Bella. I think a lot of it comes down to their support system and how much control they actually do have over their own career. Because even though they are kids, they're working. Like, these are jobs.
Yes.
And some people go into the industry at 4 or 5 years old and they're working. That's not normal.
They lose their childhood.
They lose their childhood because they have a job. Like, kids should not be in working America. I don't care what the job is, because it's destructive to their development.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, when the parents see they have a kid who is talented, they'll try to exploit that. Britney Spears' father, for example, y'all should watch that documentary if you haven't already. But yeah, people will take advantage of their own kids' talent for their own personal gain, and that's detrimental to them.
Exactly.
And we can't ignore the trends that we see when the child stars do leave Hollywood.
Right. So I think it's like the combination of all these things. You have family that might try to exploit you. You feel like you have to stay in this role. You want to grow out of it. There are just so many things that cause people that really go out of the spotlight, because they have so much they have to handle. So, but I think it's really interesting that you have the experience, because I don't know anything about that, but you already do.
Yeah, but luckily, like I said, I have always had a great support system behind me, thank God. But another thing I just remembered is when I would go to these like workshops in Chicago, like for acting, like they would be with casting directors a lot of the time, and like they would share stories of like, you know, mostly child actors who they worked with, because I was younger at the time, and like I remember hearing one story from one casting director. She was working on a Nickelodeon show, Henry Danger, and Jace Norman's the actor's name, and she was telling us that there was one day like he was like really tired or like really sick or something, and his dad was like, you have an opportunity no one else has, like you are so lucky to be in this position, like get out of it. And I mean, I don't know if I'm telling the story like 100% accurately, but I remember like Jace was feeling super burned out, and his dad was like, you're lucky to be where you are, so snap out of it. And that's another thing. It's like, you know, and then you like feel guilty for feeling burnt out, but you're a kid working long hours every single day on set and doing school in between that.
Right. Like when I think of some child stars, I think of, you know, Raven-Symoné. She went out of the spotlight at one point, but she has been on TV since she was like younger than 5, and this is a grown woman, so it's like that's no joke.
Yeah.
Well, even though there are some child stars who fade from the limelight, there are some women who are stepping into the spotlight in sports, so stick with us.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Women continue to make history in sports, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Recently, Mia Chaka became the first black woman to officiate in the NFL. Renee Montgomery is a co-owner of the Atlanta Dream, a team she used to play for.
Finally, a team of female athletes are coming together to form a media and commerce company called Together. With all of these improvements, how do you feel about the state of women in sports today? How do you feel empowered as a woman? So I definitely want to let you answer that first. How do you feel empowered as a woman?
Well, in sports, I think that we've come a long way, for sure.
Right.
I think we have a long way to go still.
Right.
When you see, you know, ESPN breaking news of something a woman, you know, is like the first female to officiate a game.
Yeah.
It's like when those updates stop coming, I think that we've made like a bigger stride.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like unheard of for these things. So that's why they're getting so.
So you're saying,
you know what I'm saying?
So when they go from being unheard of to this is a normal thing, then you feel like we're making some progress?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like, whenever I see really one of the reasons why I feel like we should have this segment was because when I saw Mia Chaka become the first black woman to officiate in the NFL, that was huge. I think like women are, I've seen a lot of things happen for women in sports this year.
Absolutely.
Like with Renee Montgomery being a co-owner of the Atlanta Dream, that's huge because you don't really hear, the WNBA is younger than the NBA, so then to hear a woman that was playing in the WNBA to start to to be a co-owner of the team that she played for, that's amazing. So yeah, I think it's just huge for women. I'm really happy for women. Even though I am a man, I'm very happy to see women move and push the envelope forward because it needs to be done.
And that's something that I like appreciate so much because you see so many times like Sabrina Ionescu, she was the Oregon basketball player. She had 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, 1,000 assists, and she was the only NCAA college basketball player, boys and girls, to do that. And I remember seeing on ESPN, like they posted something on Instagram, in the comments flooding with men just saying, stay in the kitchen, like she doesn't belong here.
Man.
So like that's just, it's so frustrating that women don't get the recognition that they deserve. You know, she's working just as hard as any male and she's accomplishing something that no one has accomplished, and it's just like I don't understand why men, not all of them, I want to put that out there, not all of them, but some of them just have a problem with women making these accomplishments in sports. It's like, we can do it too.
My thing is, like, I really try not to overlook women really ever because, you know, you come from a woman. So, then just as you were saying, there are women that dominate in their sports, but they do not get the recognition that they deserve. For example, when you get to the GOAT conversation, one person that's left out a lot is Serena Williams. But Serena Williams has been dominating in tennis, and she was killing, like she was really doing her thing in tennis when she was pregnant, and a man can't do that. So I think for something like that to be done by women, which it literally cannot be done by men, it's a huge thing, and I feel like it needs to be talked about more, because it's like women, I mean, women run the world basically, you know, and it's like in the sports world, they don't get the recognition that they deserve, even in the sports that they play. Like in the WNBA, you don't hear nearly as much about the WNBA as you do compared to the NBA. So it's just astounding that women are not getting their respect, they're not getting their attention. But I do think that with like the athletes that are coming together to form this company together, I think that's going to be huge for women going forward, because it's a group of women that want to see other women shine. So it's going to highlight other women in sports.
And that's huge. I think it's so important for women to support other women. A lot of times I feel like we can get jealous of other people that in the roles and positions that you want.
Right.
So I just hope that we can continue to make the strides that we are, and I've seen so much progress, and I think that we will continue to make that, and I'm excited to see, you know, for myself, I want to be in the sports industry as a sports broadcaster, and so I hope that by the time it's my turn up there, we'll have so much more progress for females.
Yeah, like just like I really feel like you brought up a great point earlier when you said we're hearing a lot of news about these moves now because they haven't happened, they've been unheard of, but when it gets to a point where it's like you've heard these things and now it's a normal thing. We'll start to reach new grounds because it's like, all right, now that we've done this, how can we go even bigger? Because I watched a show called All American, and that's on TV. It's on TV. It's on the CW, and there's a female head coach of the high school football team, and to see that progress already on the screen, I think that's kind of big.
It's awesome.
Right.
It's important to highlight and empower women in sports not only during Women's History Month, but all year round.
As women continue to make history and push society forward, we are eager to see what develops in the future. Next up, we have our favorite taste testers with an unexpected twist this week. Check it out after the break.
Can we get strawberries? Okay. This week, Anna and I changed things up a little bit and let the Dairy Queen workers pick what we tried.
We went through the drive-thru and asked them to make the craziest Blizzard combination. This is definitely a crazy one. Check it out.
Hello, Taste Test Tuesday viewers. We are switching it up today because we went through the Dairy Queen drive-thru and asked them to make us a Blizzard with the craziest ingredients.
The craziest combination they could think of.
Yeah, and we don't know what it is.
Yeah, they wrote down on a piece of paper what it was, but we don't know yet. So we're gonna taste it, and we're also gonna try to guess what we are tasting.
Open her up. Oh, looks like we got some chocolate in there for sure.
It looks pretty normal.
Yeah, looks like kind of like a Reese's Blizzard almost.
They asked us.
Smells like cinnamon.
They asked us if we like actually wanted it to taste good or if we just wanted it to be crazy, and we were like, we want it to be crazy.
It has a weird smell though, like cinnamon.
Oh, there's some chunks of something. Let me get one of those.
Definitely like a.
There was like a cinnamon. Cinnamon and peanut.
Peanut. Cinnamon, peanut, and chocolate.
Cinnamon, peanut.
The cinnamon's really strong.
Mhm. It tastes like a biscuit cookie you'd eat at your grandma's house.
Mmm. Yeah. That's like the snickerdoodle, I bet.
Mmm.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
The peanuts are like a little weird, but
kind of like some Animal Crackers vibes too.
Really? There's like, I'm finding all sorts of hidden treasures.
Uh-huh. It is good, but I feel like they could have done something a little crazier with this. Like, I mean, this is good.
Yeah. I don't know if they just put a bunch of random stuff in it, but like, honestly, like, I would eat it.
I would too. Like, I'm debating ordering this the next time I go.
So our final guess, vanilla ice cream, peanuts, and snickerdoodle, like
Yeah.
cookie pieces.
Yeah.
Any chocolate?
I don't know that I'm tasting chocolate. What? Ew, what is that?
I think pineapple.
No!
Yeah.
I haven't tasted any pineapple. What? No, you're lying.
No, it's like something wet and
Whip. That is pineapple. Wait, what? That is so random. So now it's vanilla, snickerdoodle, pineapple, peanut.
Pull out the paper. Cinnamon base, cream cheese base, pineapple, Spanish peanuts, mint, Heath, Reese, and Butterfinger.
Oh, God.
We missed a lot.
We did miss a lot, but I can taste all of those flavors.
And no no snickerdoodle. I didn't know they had a cinnamon and cream cheese base. I've never even heard of
Yeah,
it.
like cream cheese base. When have I ever ordered a Blizzard and be like, give me the cream cheese base, please?
Honestly, I'm shocked. I don't taste any like Reese's
I don't taste any peanut butter either.
or mint.
Yeah, where's the mint come from? The thing you taste the most is the cinnamon, I
Yeah.
would say.
But I bet the cinnamon with the cream cheese base is what's making it so good. But I didn't even know you could order that. So out of 10, I'd give this a 9 out of 10.
I would give this a 10 out of 10.
Really? I even had this feeling in the back of my mind that they were gonna like mix like baked beans into it or something, or like mix a French fry in there or something.
Well, this crazy combination will be back next week. Bye.
What did you guys think about the Blizzard?
I mean, it
Pineapple
was
surprise.
some interesting stuff in there. I'm one that, you know, if food tastes good separately, a lot of the time I feel like if you put it together, it tastes good. And
I
then,
do not think that.
I don't think that.
I mean, like some of the stuff that y'all said was in it, I feel like I would like. You said it was cinnamon in it. I really like the pineapples. We were talking
Really?
about that. This
We were
whole
talking
time.
about this. He says that pineapple would go well with all those flavors. Now, did you
I don't
see
know that.
Anna's face
didn't try
when
it.
she had the pineapple in her
Pineapples
mouth?
are good though.
It was
Yeah,
a
they're
wet
good, but they don't.
surprise.
This one has. Jiraiya told me
You
to
never
my
had pineapples
face.
in ice cream? You never had pineapples in ice cream? It's good. I'm
I
telling
mean,
you,
yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, I think I had it.
But
and
like
it's good.
with Heath and like Butterfinger and mint and cream cheese
And
base and all that
Snickerdoodle.
and peanut, like throw in a
Snickerdoodle was
pineapple. Like
good.
you guys, I gave
like
it a 10 out
mint.
of 10. It was very good for some reason.
She gave it a 10 out of 10.
But it was the pineapple's the random, like the most random element in
I
that.
took off a point for the pineapple.
So, okay, and what was your rating again?
I gave it a 9 out of 10.
A 9 out of 10 and a 10 out of 10.
But
And it
one
had
of them,
pineapples
but
in it.
one of them took off because of the pineapple, though. So
Okay, and
it
one of
can't
them
be that
didn't,
good.
and one of
You
them
know
didn't.
what?
So apparently it didn't hurt.
We're gonna have
So
another thing
maybe
next
we'd have
week,
to
and it's
try
me
it.
and Jiraiya going.
Yeah, 'cause like,
To get
it looked like it
pineapple
was
and ice
good.
cream.
So,
The pineapple just caught us by surprise
Yeah.
because it wasn't on the top. It was like halfway through, and all of a sudden we're like, "Yeah, this is really good." And then Anna gets the pineapple, and I'm like, "Whoa, what is that?" And then I take my next bite, and it's full of pineapple. I'm like, "Where did this
see,
come
like
from?"
that would throw me off because I mean, you know, y'all had some like, it seemed like there was some candy bar taste and stuff in there. So to have that with pineapple can be weird, but pineapples are sweet enough to add something great to it. So that's why I feel like it would be a good thing. And they said, okay, 10 out of 10 and 9 out of 10, and it had pineapples in it. I'm just saying. I'm using the data, the
I
facts.
was just wondering
The
why
data.
that was this hard for some pineapple.
Because they're good.
Ice
They're good.
cream.
Oh my gosh. Well, Anna and I had no idea what to expect to taste this week, but one thing I do know for certain is that it is Women's History Month, and it's only right to discuss and celebrate the women who have contributed to the implementation of this month. I want to ask my fellow hosts, if you could travel back in time to meet any woman historical figure, who would it be and why? So guys, let me know what you're thinking. Mackenzie, you want to start?
I can start. I think I would want to meet Pat Summitt. She was the head basketball coach for Tennessee for 30-some years, and she was the third most winningest coach in college basketball.
Wow.
So I think that she's definitely paved the way for female coaches and just females in sports. So it'd be
That's
cool
really
to like
cool.
talk to her and just get like her take on everything and being what it was like to be, you know, a powerful woman in sports.
For 30 years too.
Yes.
Like
Oh
that's
my
insane.
gosh.
What do you guys think?
I personally would want to meet Ruby Bridges, and I'm very aware that Ruby Bridges is still alive, but I want to go back in time to meet that 6-year-old little girl who had to be escorted into a school while grown adults petitioned for her to not be there. Just the amount of strength and courage that she had to embody in that tiny little body is crazy to me. And so I would just love just to hear like what were you're 6 years old, and I'm like so sad she had to be that catalyst for change, but I'm so glad that she did. And I just would want to see it firsthand.
Especially because she was 6. Like it would
She's
be really.
6,
It would
like
be
me at 6.
right. Like it would be really interesting though to see like if she noticed the children themselves treating her differently than the adults. Like if the children like were fine with her because
Yeah,
it's
more
just another
welcoming.
kid, more
Yeah.
welcoming, and then like they went home to their parents, and then it might have changed. So that would be actually very interesting in how that affected her
Right.
today. For me personally, I know that Amelia Earhart's on our little graphic, but I'm not talking about her. I want to talk about Bessie Coleman, who did almost all of, or even actually more than Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart was the first woman to, I believe, get her pilot's license, but Bessie Coleman, during that same period, got her international pilot's license. And that was because they wouldn't allow her as a black person, not even just a woman, but a black person, to get her pilot's license in the United States. So she had to go to France. And so she got her international one. And I'm not like pitting women against women, but Bessie Coleman was definitely, because she looks like me, I always like just aspired. Because I was just like, wow, she did so much at so young in a time where like she technically wasn't allowed to do that.
Right.
Just because she loved what she did. And I think that like showed me, okay, I need to love what I do no matter what it is, no matter if I'm the first, the last, in the middle. I want to love what I do and I want to do it right. So that hopefully later when I'm gone and crossed over, someone can like remember my impact.
Yeah, that's good, Alex.
I love all the recognition we're getting, especially to kind of more unknown people too as well. I mean, I know about Ruby Bridges, but I didn't know about the other two women, so that's amazing just to give them that recognition. Me personally, I would love to meet Princess Diana.
Oh my God.
Because I just feel like everyone's mom for some reason just adores her. Like my mom has all this like memorabilia from Princess Diana, like when she passed away and everything. And it just seems like everyone in the world besides the royal family loved her. So I don't know. I watched one of the documentaries on Netflix. I think it's Diana in Her Own Words, and like to hear, she literally narrated that whole documentary herself. So everything, like her story was her own. And just like to hear her talk, and like whenever the camera was on her, you could tell she's like very shy. And she was, you know, like just, I don't want to say closed off, but no one was helping her through it. And she was going through so much that no one even knew about. And whenever she would try to like have someone, you know, help her and like know about it, it was suppressed. So first of all, I feel bad for her, but second of all, she's an icon. I love the fashion sense that she had, and I would absolutely love if I could meet her and she could just help me out with that and give me some style tips. But as a fellow Cancer queen as well, same zodiac sign, I absolutely adore her. I think she was beautiful, hardworking, loved her family, and I just feel so bad for what she had to go through at such a young age, and to have no one help her along with it as well. I don't know. I just have a lot of love in my heart for her, and everyone's mom seems to as well.
I wasn't even thinking about her, but that was a great one. That was so good.
I know, because I was thinking before this, I'm like, who can I talk about? And like, I was looking through lists of historical characters. As soon as I saw her, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe she didn't come to mind the second I thought of this. But I just watched that documentary, and like, it was insane.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many women in history that have just made such an impact, and I'm hoping that, you know, one of us someday, somebody's talking about us. That would be crazy if somebody was like, I want to go back and meet Kenzie or Alex. That would be crazy.
That's our goal.
Yeah, so just making an impact as a woman is something that I think that we all strive for.
Everyone could go back and be like, oh, I wish I could meet the women of the College Voice cast.
Yes.
That would be crazy. We're looking down on them as angels, but that is all we have for today. Follow us on Instagram at thecollegevoice_KSU for more content. And subscribe to us on YouTube at The College Voice, where you can catch up on all of our latest episodes. See you next week.
Wizard, roll for deceasedness.
My Dark Wizard casts Super Fireball.
The wizard has only rolled an 8.
What? This is garbage! Spell.
No way a roll like that doesn't hit a level 1 goblin.
I have 7.
You gotta be kidding
Oh my
me.
God!
I have
What is
It's just
going
a baby
on?
goblin.
Cease your quarreling, children.
What?
No! What are you doing, you crazy monster?
Nanny?
Oh my
What?
You should stop being nerds and playing D&D and be nerds and watch All Systems Go Wednesdays at 9, where we talk everything from movies, games to anime and more.
Yeah,
No,
seems
yeah.
reasonable. I don't know.
Go watch All Systems Go.